Welcome to Rack of the Week 178. We are going to do something completely different today. Get to that in just a second. I just want to remind you, as usual, go to shortstoponpool.com. We got my book, Shortstop on Straight Pool. We got billiards for beginners, Shortstop on Pool gear, including branded SOP logo gear, Ghost Aimers, and Bridgemates. And there's going to be a new Bridgemate product coming up. It's going to be a Bridgemate that's higher. It's for shooting over a ball. Should be out in a couple of weeks, and I can't wait to test that and show it to you. Okay, let's get into the rack. For 40 years, I've been listening to nine ballers say, oh, straight pool, you can shoot any ball in any pocket at any time? Ha! Sounds easy. I'm not going to go on a rant, which you know I could. It's not easy. They say that Willie Mosconi would run 100 balls and never have to shoot a difficult shot. Does that sound easy? It's about cue ball position. It's about knowledge. It's about patterns, how to know when to open up clusters and when not to. I want you to think about it. Every single rack begins with 14 balls frozen in the middle of the table. And you're not going to get them open on the opening break shot on every rack. You're using the cue ball to open the balls and create new shots as you pocket balls and choose the correct order, develop an end pattern. It's not easy. How do you illustrate that to someone who doesn't understand? That's what I want to try to do today. But we're going to look at a single rack of straight pool. This is during a run of 152 balls. It's a 150 and out by Thorsten Hohmann a number of years ago. I got this from David Sapoulos' channel, and be sure to check him out. Look him up on Facebook. If you want to learn how to play straight pool, you've got to be a follower of David Sapoulos, and he's also an announcer during this run. So go to YouTube and watch the run. I believe the commentators at one point said that Thorsten even said this is one of his favorite runs ever in his career, 150 and out. What I've done is I've dissected the rack to show you each shot that he shoots without the rest of the balls on the table to try and illustrate a point instead of going on a rant. So let's take a look. What you're looking at right now is the opening break shot. Okay, but I removed all the other balls from the table. Now I ask you, is this an easy shot? Heck yeah, it's an easy shot. Players of all skill levels are going to make this shot a high percentage of the time. Okay, let's take a look though. This is the actual shot that he's shooting. It's an opening break shot. Just pocketing this easy shot isn't enough. You have to know how to open the rack, control the cue ball so you don't scratch, and keep the cue ball down table, know which balls in the rack are going where, and play position on them from this shot. And this is not the easiest break shot because it's a very shallow angle. Do you know how to do all that? Straight pool is not easy. Next shot. After the opening break shot, this is the shot that Thorsten has to shoot. This is the most difficult shot that he shoots in the entire rack. And it's not that difficult. It's just a little bit long is all. So do you think this is an easy shot? Well, this is what he actually has to deal with. It's a tightly clustered rack. It's not open. Are there 15 easy shots on the table to shoot right now? No. There's only a few open balls, and you better play good position to get on them. How are you going to open the rest of the balls? It's not easy. Thorsten needs to shoot this 13 ball and float down to the bottom rail. He's going to bring the cue ball down here. But even pocketing this ball and bringing the cue ball down here isn't enough. The shot line to the 5 is a very shallow line like this. You need to make sure you keep the cue ball below the shot line so you can pocket the 5 and do something with the cue ball afterwards. Knowledge about how the game is played is required. And it's the knowledge base required to play straight pool is like 10 times bigger than 9 ball. 9 ball's simple. I didn't say it was easy. I said it was simple by comparison. Let's look at the next shot. This is the 5-ball shot. That's an easy shot, right? Yeah, it's an easy shot. But what are you playing position for? What are you doing with the cue ball? Thorsten Hohmann's decision on this shot is to draw the cue ball back, and he doesn't want to just draw it back and hit the 6 because he may not get another shot. He wants to draw it back, clip this ball to try and knock a couple balls loose, then carry him into the 6 to knock it this way. That should preserve the cue ball here, so he'll have a shot on the 6 or this ball in this direction afterwards. That's not easy. Next shot. How easy is this shot? This is an object ball long. In other words, it's a long shot, but the object ball has to travel a long distance. But he's very straight in. If the cue ball's here, it's a much, much more difficult shot. But where it is, that's not a hard shot at all. It's an easy shot. Most people are going to make that. Okay, so what's the big deal? The deal is this. You have to have the knowledge of straight pool to realize that shooting this easy 6 ball right now is the wrong shot. Knowledge is required to play straight pool because it's not easy to learn all these various patterns and techniques and shot selection that you need to do. So Thorsten's shooting this ball for the reason to position the cue ball for this shot so that he can follow forward with the cue ball and open these balls. Next shot. There's the shot I just mentioned, the 11 ball. How hard is this shot? It's not. It's a super easy shot. Everybody can make this shot. Why is it hard? Because this is what you're actually shooting. What ball are you going to shoot next? Are you going to miss this 11 ball by concentrating on where the cue ball is going too much and then you forget to go back to your aim on the 11 ball? So not only that, but you've got to know how to strike this cue ball with the right amount of top spin and the right control so that you're controlling the cue ball off from this ball so you can get a follow-up shot, and so that you're not distributing these balls such that they re-tie up and create new clusters. That's not easy. How easy is this shot? We've all made this shot to win games of 8-ball. Just a little tap into the side pocket. Super easy shot, right? Wrong. First of all, you've got to have the knowledge to understand to not shoot the 1 ball or this 2 ball. Those shots aren't helping you, and you have to know why that is. Thorsten's shooting the 8 for the reason that it provides him the opportunity to open up this cluster of balls. But you can't just try and hit those balls. Thorsten is trying to specifically hit this part of the 5 ball to knock it over here to create a break shot. So the carom runs into the stripe, knocks the stripe down here, keeping the cue ball here so that he has a shot on either this ball or this ball next as insurance balls. It's so easy to shoot this shot, hit this stripe, and end up parked on top of these without opening them and not getting an easy shot, or coming this way and hitting this ball thin and going down here and ending up behind the 6 ball with no shot. This is an advanced shot. You've really got to have good control in order to be able to open this cluster and get a follow-up shot, because straight pool is not easy. This is the result of that shot. Thorsten hit it perfect. So because he hit it perfect, he has this really easy shot to follow up. Is it easy? This is what he actually has. What are you going to do from here? The 5 ball isn't quite in a good enough position for a break ball, so you don't have a break ball for the next rack yet. There isn't an easy follow-up shot if you just leave the cue ball here. Where are you going to put the cue ball and why? Again, referring to that knowledge base that can take years to develop, because it's not easy. Thorsten brought the cue ball 2-rail center table. Now, if you shoot a normal 2-railer, you're going to pick up a lot of inside spin, and that cue ball is going to go wide. So you've got to know how to hook the cue ball forward without running English to keep it on a shallower trajectory and keep the cue ball down table. Part of that knowledge base that I was talking about again. Now, Thorsten has a very easy shot, super easy, straight in shot in the corner pocket. You know what I'm going to say. It's not easy. The reason why he's choosing this shot is because he has an opportunity here whenever you have a pair of balls in the rack like this to manufacture a break ball. So here's the shot line for the stripe. He needs to draw the cue ball back and keep it below the shot line, but not behind this stripe. Then he'll have an angle to pocket this stripe, nudge this ball over to create a break shot, and preserve a shot on this ball in the corner pocket for the follow-up shot. It's not easy, folks. Being the champion that Thorsten is, this is the shot he gets on this 15 ball. As you can tell, he has the angle that I mentioned, so he's able to draw that cue ball back perfectly. He's got a slight cut angle. How hard is this shot? It's not hard. It's an easy shot. Unless if you factor this in. You've got to know, based on the cut angle, how much velocity that cue ball is going to retain off from this cut shot, plus how thickly or thinly you're going to strike this 5 ball to send it in the correct direction. You don't want to send it up here. You don't want to send it down here. You want to send it this way. How hard are you going to hit it in order to draw the cue ball the precise amount with the right speed to do that? It's not easy, folks. Thorsten hits it very well. This is his follow-up shot. Again, super easy shot. But is it? Because this is what he actually has. He manufactured a perfect break ball right here. The rack is now completely solved, but you need to clear the remaining balls in a very controlled fashion. We call that an end pattern to arrive on the break shot. Thorsten recognizes a couple of things here. One is that this 7 ball, if you can get almost straight in on the 7 ball, leads naturally to the 13 in this pocket, from which you can easily play position for the 2 ball in the side, and then you're on your break shot for the 5 ball. Just roll forward and you're on your break shot. That's one of many patterns that can be struck from here. But not only that, he also realizes that he can pocket this ball and nudge the 13 up just a little bit to create a second break shot. And that increases the probability of running out this rack when you have more options. Again, this is advanced play. This is a knowledge base that it can take years to develop. Next shot. How hard is this shot? It's not, following the theme, but you've got to know what to do from here. If you're playing position for one of these 3 balls, you're making a mistake and you don't understand how end patterns work in straight pool. Thorsten is going to shoot this ball and bring the cue ball up here. He'd like to kind of hook around this 13 and get close to straight in on the 7 ball, but you don't want the cue ball way up table. From that 7 ball shot, he'll be able to play position on either of these 2 balls and arrive on a good angle on his break shot. This is the shot he got to shoot. Now, he didn't want to go too far up table, and he didn't want to draw the cue ball so smartly that he bumped that stripe. So he's got a little bit more angle that he wants. So this might be the second most difficult shot of this entire rack, but it's still not that tough of a shot, right? Unless if you realize that there are only 3 balls left, and you better get this position right, or you're not going to continue the run. So what I would probably want to do here is bring the cue ball straight across table, trying to not land where I'm elevated over the 2 or go so far that I'm behind the 5 so that I can preserve a shot on this 13 ball here. Thorsten does this. He's able to cut, remember that angle on that 7 ball? He's able to cut that 7 ball into the corner pocket delicately enough that he can bring the cue ball over here to have a shot on this 2 ball. But what he actually had was this. Now, if the cue ball rolled past this ball, he might have had an easy shot on the 13 here. He might have been using the 13 to stop the cue ball, but he can shoot the 2 and then get position on one of these balls, either of these balls, to use as a key ball to get on the break shot for the other ball. This is way more advanced, and it's something that you have to deal with in every single rack of straight pool. But this type of thing comes up just once in a blue moon playing 9 ball. So Thorsten shoots the 2 ball, and then he has this shot. How hard is this shot? Not hard. We know that. But when you look at this, it becomes much more interesting. Thorsten actually has a couple of options. He has a very slight angle on this ball. He can try to force this ball here and come out to here for this break shot. But he's choosing the easier shot is this one. This is an easy shot to just draw back, right? But if you don't hit this pure and you get kind of a stun draw, then the cue ball comes this way. And you have an extremely small window to get in your break shot, and you're more likely to be over here where you don't have a break shot at all. You've got to know that even though you have a cut shot on this, you need to aim this 5 ball to this side of the pocket, use a little bit of outside English, both of which allow you to hit the 5 ball fuller so you can draw it back more smartly in this direction, and then also gauge the distance correctly so you get a very reasonable shot on this 13 for your break shot the next rack. It's not easy, folks. Then this is what Thorsten arrives at. He has a perfect angle for his next break shot. Once again, is this an easy shot? Sure. We shoot this shot all the time, don't we? I want to point out also that if you compare all 15 shots that I just showed you, 90% of them were almost straight in, like the cue ball here, near to straight in. He's got an angle on this shot because that's desirable for a break shot. But you don't get easy straight in shots one after another, unless if you are a consummate expert at controlling the cue ball precisely. And in straight pool, you've got to control the cue ball precisely while you're causing the cue ball to bang into other balls. It's not easy, folks. This is the break shot that Thorsten has, and I'm not showing the result of this, but he does get this rack open and continue his run and runs 150 and out. So once again, a cut shot this time. Cue ball's hitting this part of the rack. How are you shooting the shot? How are you controlling the cue ball? Which balls are going to open from this rack and where are they going to go? How are you going to play position on them without scratching? You know what I'm going to say. It's not easy. This rack of the week was motivated by running into another person who said, "Oh, all you got to do is open the balls and just shoot them in. You can shoot any ball in any order." How hard is that? It's not easy. Straight pool and makes rotation games like 9-ball and 10-ball look remedial. The number of shot choices and position plays in rotation games is way simpler than straight pool. You're doing so much more with the cue ball, thinking ahead, so many more moves, understanding what clusters to go for first and why, and where insurance balls are. The knowledge base is 10 times bigger. I used to try to be a lot more politically correct or more. I don't care about anymore. I'm 62 years old. I promote straight pool. That doesn't mean I don't like 9-ball and 10-ball. I do. They're challenging games. They are difficult games. They're nowhere near as difficult as straight pool. What did Tom Hanks say in League of Their Own? It's the hard that makes it great. If the pros are playing a simple game like 9-ball to the exclusion of all else, boring. And people aren't experiencing what makes pool great. It's the variety of games that makes pool great. I am not suggesting that the pros should only play straight pool. No, that would be a mistake. They should play straight pool, 9-ball, 10-ball, one pocket, and banks. And I don't know what proportion of those games, but that's the beauty of pool. 9-ball's a great game, but not when it's played to the exclusion of everything else. Straight pool is the best game and the most challenging pool game there is. But it would be boring if we only played straight pool all the time. I'm going to go to my grave arguing this point. I just want, and I hope I've illustrated here that it may sound like it, but straight pool is not easy. Get over it. And if you want to play great 9-ball and 10-ball rotation games, you need to play straight pool. And that's not an opinion. That is a fact. The players who excel the most at rotation games, they play champion straight pool. Ralph Souquet, Thorsten Homan, Efren Reyes, Earl Strickland. The list goes on and on. Of course, Jason Shaw, John Schmidt. The list goes on and on. So I hope you've enjoyed my rant this week. Next week we'll go back to a normal rack of the week, but I just felt motivated to make this point, and I thought that this would be a good way to do it, illustrating in this rack of the week. I hope you like that, and thank you for watching. See you next week on Rack of the Week. Bye.